Factor is a pre-made meal plan kit that delivers dietitian-approved, chef-prepared meals straight to your front door and ready to eat within 2 minutes. If you're like me, you've seen this company's ads shoved down your throat relentlessly on Instagram, on podcasts, by your favorite YouTubers, and even in the mail. I'm serious, the budget that this company has to be spending to advertise to me directly has to be insane. So I've always been very curious to give this product a shot, and today I ordered a bunch of Factor meals as well as a bunch of different add-ons, and I'm going to be surviving on nothing but Factor for the next week to give an authentic, unsponsored review of whether or not it lives up to the advertisements. But I'm also going to be going over the far from affordable pricing, especially considering the honestly abysmal portion sizes, the tedious disposal process that most people aren't going to be going through with, and last but certainly not least, the history of suppressing labor concerns, union busting, and even alleged child labor violations. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got my Factor here. This is quite a hefty box too. Shit, wait. Okay, hold on, there's more. God. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's more? What the fuck? Oh my God, dude. I might have got myself in a little bit too deep here. This is a pretty good amount of food. Well, let's open this shit. This is exciting. Let's open this bad boy up. Whoa. We got a bunch of coupons. Okay, free chicken breast for life. If you guys want this, fucking, I don't know, take it. We also got wine. Okay, I don't need any. I just want to get to the food. This is my overnight oats. Here's my protein waffles. Ooh, I got my chocolate chip cookie dough. This is gonna be dangerous right here. Another ice pack. Got some egg bites, which I don't know about these. Well, we got some wellness shots. These are probably gonna suck ass. All right, and that's it for box number 1. This one's bigger. Gosh, okay. Oh my gosh. All right, got another ice pack. Oh, this one's soaked. All right, we got more fucking coupons, more wine ads. I'm not 21, Factor. This is illegal, I think. All right, here we go. This is the real stuff. We got green chili chicken. Oh my God, look at this. I got 1 and 2. This is quite a lot. Dang, I didn't notice they all had like 75 milligrams of caffeine. Ooh, I'm gonna be hopped up this week. Let's good with those. Number 3. Another one of these. Oh, we got more coupons. Hey, I mean, at least they're giving you discounts on stuff because it's pretty fucking expensive. We got this. Looks good. This doesn't say what it is. Oh, it's pancakes. Salmon looks like. Kind of looks a little rough, actually. Not gonna lie. Doesn't look the most appetizing. We went through all the boxes. Let's put all of this on the table and see what it all looks like. Okay, this is quite a lot of food. All right, now it's time for the hard part where I have to put all of this in my fridge. And when you see my fridge, you will understand why that's hilarious. This is my fridge right here. And it's already pretty fucking full.
There's like barely anything in it.
I can put stuff up here. That's 6. I got like fucking 18. How am I gonna do this? Okay. Oh, I can definitely do 4 right here. I don't think I can fit anything there though. It's gonna be the most intense game of Tetris. All right, I've done it. I've been able to fit actually every single thing that I ordered inside this tiny fridge. Don't ask me how, but I managed to do it. It's pretty packed, but I did it. I think I'd call this a win. It's time to get to eating. You know? Okay, I just got home from school and it's time for lunch. I'm fucking starving. I'm gonna make my first official actual meal. We're gonna do this one first. It doesn't look very good like this, but it is the honey butter chicken breast. Ooh, hot. All right, we did it. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like shit. However, I'm gonna transfer it to a plate. Maybe that'll make it look a little bit prettier. Because right now, wow, this is the meal. I don't know, it looks fine. It's not the most appetizing thing, especially with all these like bubbles over here. I don't know what that's about, but let's eat. Bon appetit. Let's try the chicken. Okay, let me dip it in here. It's not bad actually. I'll be honest, visually, not the most appealing thing in the world, but in terms of taste, I'm happy with this. Okay, I was just looking at the Factor website, and you know that meal I had earlier? It looked a little bit rough, right? I mean, it tasted pretty good. Look at what the fucking picture looks like. What the fuck are we doing, dude? Are you fucking kidding me? That's not even close to the same thing. First of all, it wasn't nearly this big. Second of all, it didn't look anything fucking like this. I know ads are like misleading, but that's insane. So first off, let's talk about pricing. This product is not cheap. I paid over $400 for what I got. But to be fair, I did go a little bit overboard. I acknowledge that. Most people aren't going to be ordering enough food to eat nothing but Factor for an entire week. That being said, even if you order a normal amount, these meals still are not cheap. And if you do end up buying Factor, I would highly recommend that you do everything you can to use a discount code, because this stuff is very expensive and they have some actually genuinely good discounts for your first time buying a box. And I actually saw that repeatedly in reviews that I watched for this video, where people would say that the first week, it was great. You know, it was totally worth it because it was super cheap with all the discounts. But the next week, after the discount wore off, you very quickly realize how expensive the product really is. Let's assume we buy a normal amount. We'll go with the most popular option according to Factor, which is the 10 meal box. This is also assuming you don't get any kind of add-ons or anything like that. The first time you're paying only $6.25 a meal, so a total of $62.45. Those 10 meals will cover one person's lunch and dinner Monday through Friday. And for $62, I mean, that's a pretty good value. However, without this discount, which you won't have except for the first week, you're looking at $12.49 a meal, which adds up to $124.90. And add on a $13 fee for shipping and taxes, and now you have $137.90. Now, the average American spends $270 a week on groceries and $328 a month on eating out. So if we assume that as high as 75% of those groceries are on food, then overall we have the average American spending $284.50 a week on food. And while the cost for those 10 Factor meals does fit into that budget, you gotta remember that this is only 10 out of the 21 meals that this person would need in order to eat 3 meals a day for the whole week. So now you're looking at a remaining $146.60 left for the other 11 meals in your week. This, of course, isn't accounting for having children to feed or having a partner or something like that. This also isn't accounting for coffee and snacks throughout the week, which that kind of stuff adds up too and would definitely be counted as food. My point is that while Factor might be convenient, you are paying for that convenience. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're like super busy or something like that and you have the extra money to do so, but it's certainly something that you should be aware of. It's my first day getting all the Factor meals, and I'm gonna try these cookie dough things. I don't know. I mean, they say you can bake them or you can just eat them raw. Personally, I love it raw. Don't clip that. Please don't clip that. I like my cookie dough raw. They're dairy-free and no defined sugar, and they're 90 calories per serving, which one serving is one cookie, so that's not like that healthy or anything. To be clear, I don't want a healthy cookie. What the fuck? What the hell? Can I eat this? Look at this. This is what it looks like on the package? This is what it looks like. What the is this okay to eat? I don't think it's supposed to look like this. It smells fine. It tastes good as hell. It tastes great. I was concerned by the color because it doesn't look anything like it does on the package, but it tastes completely fine and it's good as fuck. I am a little bit concerned about the color still though. I hope it didn't like go bad. It says Best Buy February 2026, so I'm probably good, right? On top of the fact that these meals are pretty expensive, the portion sizes are also really small. The Factor meals that I got were all 400 to 600 calories each, and the highest calories in one meal was 740 calories, and it was the blueberry pancakes and sausage, which, by the way, sucked ass.
All right, this looks like it's gonna taste good. Let me get some dip it on there. No. Oh God, no. This is horrible.
So if we say that the average meal has as much as 600 calories in it, then that's a pretty small meal, especially for dinner and especially for the price. There were many nights where after eating all 3 meals from Factor and even a protein shake, I had only consumed about 1,700 or 1,800 calories. I usually aim for 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. In fact, my calorie tracking app, which is set at a calorie deficit for me to lose 1 pound a week, actually says that I should be consuming 2,800 calories a day. So the point is, these meals were really not cutting it for me in terms of portion sizes. The first few nights this wasn't a big deal because I had those desserts, and those desserts were actually so fire. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that is good. And so I would just add those on to the end of my dinner, and I would feel satiated enough and like I consumed enough calories for the day. However, when those ran out, which happened quicker than I'd like to admit, I was stuck at the end of the day just feeling hungry. Unsure if I wanted to make another meal, but I knew I didn't really want to, but I was like, what else do I do?
So it's 8:30 right now. I just ate like 30 minutes ago, and I am fucking starving still. The portion sizes are just off, and I know that like I chose calorie smart options, but more than that is what I'm getting. I think marking something as calorie smart and then just making it a small portion is kind of a way to market giving smaller portions and also jacking up the price at the same time, is my opinion. I think that, you know, it's good to keep an eye on calories, and I do that myself. But this is an absurd amount. Like, if you eat just Factor, then I've fucking eaten 1,500 calories today. That's very small.
In fact, one night I even ended up ordering Domino's desserts to my house through DoorDash to like fill this hole.
This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. I'm ordering stuff from Domino's. Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that I have been swayed into purchasing some dessert because those Factor meals were not enough. Holy fuck.
And look, I personally struggle sometimes with overeating, and you could definitely contribute this compulsive purchase to that. But something that I've found throughout my weight loss journey over the last couple of years is that if I push myself too much and don't consume enough calories, or I try to force myself to eat some healthy alternative that I really just don't like, then the temptation for a compulsive, you know, unhealthy binge essentially increases like exponentially. And if you combine those things, then it's even worse. So I think that's kind of what happened here. I was still hungry even after eating all 3 meals from Factor that day. And honestly, all 3 of those meals that I had that day were kind of rough, didn't taste very good. So I regrettably ordered something that I knew I probably shouldn't. And I just kind of let the temptation win in that moment because I was weakened. I think the portion sizes could be fine for some people, but for me, the portions and the pricing alone are just enough for me to not want to buy this again. Even before getting to the taste, which I have a lot to say about that too, and you'll see that here in a minute. But I don't want to be unfair, okay? I actually think that this product could be really helpful for some people. If you have some extra money laying around and you're too busy or, you know, lack the skills to cook and meal prep, then I think this product could be genuinely helpful. I also think that, again, if you can afford it and you're trying to eat low calorie, then this could be helpful in that way too, because these meals are pretty filling for the amount of calories that they have in them. I've personally been wanting to get back into cutting weight and tracking calories and stuff like that, and I actually think that the smaller, you know, confined portions and structure that Factor brings about could be genuinely helpful for me personally. That is, if they were better tasting and had like slightly bigger portion sizes so that I wasn't tempted to go compulsively DoorDash some fucking dessert from Domino's. It's also worth mentioning that they do have registered dietitians in the app or website that you can talk to, I think included with your subscription. That way you can ask the dietitian, you know, what meals you should choose to further specific goals. So I do think that's worth mentioning and a genuinely helpful tool that they do provide, and I want to give them credit for that. So while I don't think it's the best for me personally to further my own fitness goals, I do think some people could find it genuinely helpful, especially for people who are busy and, you know, can't find the time to make meals that are going to further those fitness goals they have for themselves. Like, you know, we've all been there. You're busy and you don't know how to make fucking dinner or like something that's healthy, so you make something like some mac and cheese and a frozen pizza or something like that, or you order out again, you know. Like, we've all been in that situation, and Factor does allow you to have that same level of convenience while not having the downsides of eating like shit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ryder. He's back.
What's up? I'm back.
We're about to film our podcast, which, by the way, go check out the podcast. It's the Podgressives. Link in the description. We do political commentary every single week. Crazy shit's going on in the world, so go check it out if you want to stay informed. But we are going to try the Italian sausage, tomato, and cream lasagnette. Is that lasagna? I don't know how do you spell lasagna? Well, it looks good, so we're going to try it.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't eat.
He didn't eat. Why are you thinking he ate? He didn't do that. He didn't take a bite already.
Good.
That's pretty good. For me in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
In a microwave. Most of the meals are like this. It's like, oh, it's pretty good. Yeah, fine.
While Factor is extremely convenient to just be able to pop it in the microwave and have a pretty solid meal made in 2 minutes, it's worth mentioning the proper disposal process for the ice packs that it comes in, because when we're talking about convenience, this process is not exactly convenient. You'll notice when you order a Factor box that it comes insulated with a bunch of ice packs in it so that it will stay cool in the transport to your house. Now you might be thinking, that seems like a lot of waste. And yeah, it is. But a lot of it actually is recyclable. The ice packs themselves are even recyclable. However, in order to recycle those ice packs, it's a little bit of a process. I've got a bunch of them in here. Got a ton of these things. And so it says the first step is to cut up the corners and then empty the contents into the trash. So I'm gonna take them outside and empty them into the outside trash.
Oh,
God,
dude.
trash juice.
Yeah, that. There's like brown juice in the trash. I'm gonna get a straw.
McDonald's buy one get one free coupon. You want it?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go fish for it.
Fly come out. It's so cold. It's like teal jelly. Okay.
Yeah.
Do not apply to body, do not eat.
So it's definitely.
Wait, it's all over my fucking hands.
You're probably fine.
Okay.
My hands like
he's probably,
fall off.
He's probably gonna fucking die in a couple hours.
This process of cutting open and draining the ice packs, especially when you order as much as I did, is quite a time-consuming and uncomfortable process. Once you do that, though, you can't just recycle it in your bin and put it on the curb. You have to go to a website that's linked on the ice packs themselves and then look up a drop-off location near you and go drop it off there. But when I tried to go to the website that was linked on the ice packs, it literally was like broken.
Don't recycle me with your curbside items. And then it says to visit earth911.org to drop off locations. But then I go to the website that they told me to go to, and when I type in exactly what they told me to type in, and I click search, wow, no listings. Sorry about that. What the hell? Here, I can click on plastic. It just brings a line across the screen, and it goes away. It doesn't do anything. It just puts a line across the screen. What the fuck? They all do this. This website is horrible. What is this? I'm so confused. Why did they give this website of all the websites? And so I went to Google and I looked up number 4 plastic film recycling, and I found a separate website, not the one that they gave me. And I was able to find there that there is a place near me that I can recycle these things, and it's at a Food Lion down the street. All right, so right now I'm driving to Food Lion, which is pretty close to my house. I'm guessing there's gonna be a recycle bin somewhere. Maybe I have to go inside. I have no fucking idea. I feel like, not that this is that difficult to do, like you just have to drive down the fucking street and then just fucking drop off a couple pieces of plastic. Like, it's not that big of a deal. The barrier to entry to like actually properly dispose of all these materials is high enough where I feel like 99% of people that buy Factor meals just aren't gonna be doing that shit. And you know, I think there's also bigger fish to fry in terms of recycling. We should definitely address climate change. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for that, but you know, I think it comes at the behest of the corporations and government to properly address climate change. And I think that for the most part, the over-reliance on forcing consumers to recycle is ineffective, and in the grand scheme of things, a way to offload the responsibility for climate change onto the consumer. But you know, that's a whole different video. But the point is, I guess, that this is a little bit too much, and I don't think most people are doing this shit. Anyways, that's my rant. All right, I just pulled into the Food Lion parking lot. I see the bins right outside the front of the Food Lion. There's just 3 separate like recycle bins, and one of them says plastic films on it. On my way into the store, I'm gonna just slip the plastic bags or the plastic films into this little recycle bin. It wasn't, like, here's the thing. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of an inconvenience, but it's enough of an inconvenience where I think most people that order Factor are not going to be going through with this whole process every single week. Most people will likely just toss them in the trash, and I mean, I don't blame them. I understand, especially since most people that are ordering Factor are already busy enough where they don't want to cook food. So I would think that adding on this, like, you know, slightly inconvenient way of disposing of these things properly might not be in their interest, to say the least. And while obviously it's not going to make or break the climate whether or not people dispose of the Factor ice packs properly, and we need systemic change to properly address the issue of climate change, and we need it urgently, by the way, it's still certainly worth noting the added waste if you don't go through with the process as intended. And also, it's worth noting that most people probably don't. Another caveat to Factor's convenience is the potentially illegal and immoral labor conditions that brought that box to your front door. You see, Factor is actually owned by HelloFresh, which is another meal kit service in which you actually have to cook the meal and are actually provided with the pre-portioned ingredients. In my opinion, the fact that HelloFresh owns Factor in and of itself is already concerning to me. When you see an industry leader company buying up competitors like you've seen with HelloFresh and Factor, as well as other competitors as well, it reads a bit like a monopoly is beginning to form there. I don't know. That's besides the point. I just thought that's worth mentioning. The reason I bring this up is that HelloFresh has a history of union busting and pretty rough labor conditions. You see, in 2021, HelloFresh warehouse workers across America began to initiate a union drive with Union Here. HelloFresh, instead of allowing their workers to decide whether or not they wanted a more democratic workplace and if they wanted greater protections, they did what any corporation would do that was worried about their last year's record profit numbers and hired a consulting firm to essentially brainwash their workers into being anti-union. They would compel their workers to go to these captive audience meeting, and they would blast them with a bunch of anti-union propaganda. Here's a photo of one of the guys doing it. They even allegedly intimidated people that were handing out pro-union flyers, and this union busting actually worked in the end, leading to the employees voting against unionization. And even as late as 2024, HelloFresh had reportedly had some pretty concerning labor conditions, including restrictive toilet policies, leading to some workers even having accidents on the job. Some workers called the environment toxic, and HelloFresh even allegedly fired multiple employees for raising concerns about the environment. But I'm not just here to tell you that Factor's parent company is questionable in terms of labor. I think that's concerning in and of itself, but no, Factor is actually directly involved as well. You see, in December of 2024, the U.S. Department of Labor began an investigation into a Factor warehouse in Aurora, Illinois, that allegedly had at least 6 Guatemalan miners working night shift in illegal and dangerous conditions for miners to be in. HelloFresh, Factor, and Midway Staffing, an agency that did a lot of hiring for HelloFresh, were all a part of this investigation. And while it's not totally clear who is responsible for hiring these miners and putting them in danger like this, they all deny responsibility, of course, and HelloFresh points the finger at Midway Staffing, and Midway Staffing says, well, we didn't do it. So obviously someone did it. so look, I'm not making some big claim that every single Factor box is like packaged by a 4-year-old or whatever, but the point is that Factor's parent company has a history of union busting and suppressing labor concerns. And this child labor case involving Factor doesn't look so great either. It's always bad when you go to a company's Wikipedia page and they have a section about their labor violations. It's hard to honestly not find a company that doesn't have that, except for Dakota Talks Incorporated. We love our workers. I'm the sole worker, so I'm treated very well. My boss is so nice to me. He's a really nice, tall, hot guy. The thing is, we live in a world today where we're so reliant on everything being convenient, and we tend to think that if things are fast and easy, then they must be good or improving. But there's way more to it than that. Factor may be delivering you those overpriced, small portioned mid meals that make your week a little bit easier and make cleanup a little bit easier, but that might be at the expense of workers that are not having their concerns heard, especially with not any sort of organizational legitimacy like a union. What really pisses me off is when companies like this will fuck over their workers time and time again, doing everything they can to avoid paying them a wage that's livable or giving them proper benefits so that they can afford healthcare, or allow them to use the bathroom without paying themselves on the job. And they don't even pass the savings of the exploited workers onto the consumer. Instead, they charge them up the ass as much as they possibly can so their profits will soar and they can give their CEO a bigger bonus than they did last year and act like he did all the fucking work. Give me a break, dude. Like, that kind of stuff pisses me off. This obviously is a more broad statement than just applying to Factor, but it applies here too. Just remember that every corporation has motivations that are inherently opposed to yours as a consumer or as a worker. They want to charge you the most for their product they can get away with charging you. They want to pay the lowest wages they can get away with paying. They want to give you as little benefits and as little breaks as possible. This is why unions and worker protection laws are so important. And I guess what I want my message to be on this channel is, when you see an advertisement, please think critically about what they're selling. Always exercise skepticism when a company says or claims literally anything ever. Always think about their motivations and how those motivations could be different from your own, because 9 times out of 10, they are going to be inherently opposite. I'm not saying you have to boycott every immoral company out there. I mean, that would be impossible, because seemingly every company does or is contributing to something immoral along the line somewhere. But take those motivations into account when choosing what products to buy and what companies to support, especially in a time when those corporations and the people who operate them at the top have an outsized influence over the world we live in today. It's important to examine their claims, exercise skepticism at every opportunity, and hold them accountable whenever you can. So, overall thoughts on the product. It was meh. I mean, it tasted fine. I don't know. It's mid. Most of them tasted like yesterday's leftovers. However, as the week went on, by around day, 3 or 4, they started tasting like those leftovers that you're slightly concerned about consuming, and you're like, they'll probably be fine, but I'm not totally sure, and hopefully I don't wake up puking in the morning. It's okay. I don't know. It's scary. They're old now. I mean, none of them are expired, but they're old enough where I'm concerned it's gonna go bad now. And overall, there wasn't that many meals that like all around impressed me. That's not to say that there wasn't any though. I will say the chicken taco bowl was great. All right, let's try some of the chicken and bean mix. Okay. Damn. Okay. This is fire. I'm more than happy with this meal, and I'm gonna go destroy it. And the cavatappi and meatballs was also phenomenal. This is gonna be a good bite. I'm excited. This is good. Those both left me feeling very happy, but I will say the small portions also left me feeling like I wanted more of them, so that was kind of still disappointing in a certain way. The desserts were absolutely amazing, despite the coloring on the cookie dough bites being like way different from what they advertised it as, which definitely threw me off, but those still slapped, so it's fine. But besides the desserts, pretty much every single meal was me just going, I mean, it's fine, I wouldn't buy this again, but I'll consume it, I guess. Which is not the best experience, especially when you're paying such a high cost for the convenience factor. There was also multiple different meals and add-ons that I actively disliked or even hated. The blue cheese cream filet mignon was rough. I couldn't eat it. Okay, I don't like those. I don't like that. All right. It's not great either. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know if I want to eat this. And literally every single thing that they sold for breakfast was god awful, except for the overnight oats, which were just like mid as hell. No. Oh god, no. Oh my god. That's horrible. Dude, it was hard to get down. Oh, I'm not eating this. Oh. I don't know if this is gonna show up on camera, but they're fucking wet as hell. Soggy, wet egg bites sounds fucking nasty. So we've, you're not supposed to be gagging when you look at the thing you're about to put in your mouth. Cut into this one. Actually, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god. Oh, that was fucking horrible. Oh my god, the second bite was fucking disgusting. What the hell? Oh my god, I needed... Oh, give me this fucking overnight oats. Jesus Christ. I'm eating this shit instead. That was fucking nasty, dude. The first bite was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And then the second bite was like the most disgusting thing ever. Like, I don't know what changed. There's no way in fucking hell I'm eating any more of that, dude. That was nasty. I felt like I was about to throw up, dude. These oats instead. Which also aren't that good, by the way. Breakfast food from Factor sucks ass. Almost every single protein shake was chalky and just kind of tasted gross. Let's check it out. God dang it, it's full. Look at this. Look how full this is. No. What? This is terrible. Which, side note, those cost like $40 or something, and that's fucking insane, especially considering how disgusting most of them were. Here's the thing. If the portions were better and/or it was cheaper and it tasted better, I would consider continuing my subscription, but obviously lowering the amount of meals because I don't need that many fucking Factor meals every single week. But honestly, for the price, for the portions, and the hassle of disposing of it properly, the taste just isn't even worth it. It's all around, my experience was not that pleasant, except for those fucking desserts. Those desserts slapped. And honestly, despite my issues with HelloFresh, as I mentioned earlier, with the union busting and the suppression of labor concerns, I have to say that I have tried HelloFresh in the past myself. I thought that HelloFresh was a significantly better experience than Factor was. The thing is, like, the meals from HelloFresh actually taught me how to make a meal. And I mean, sure, it took 30 minutes instead of 2 minutes, but it still made cooking meals more convenient because I don't know how to cook a meal, Like, I'm a fucking college kid. I don't know how to cook anything, I can cook eggs and like toast. I'm good at avocado toast and eggs. That's my shit right there. But otherwise, and so HelloFresh supplied me with the pre-portioned ingredients and, very easy to follow instructions with photos and everything. And I was able to, complete the meal and feel kind of proud of what I had done. Most of the meals that I got from HelloFresh tasted really good. And so at the end of my HelloFresh subscription, I was like, I felt good about it. I felt good about pretty much every meal that I got, and I felt like I learned a lot. I was able to actually save those recipes, and, you know, I plan to use those and cook those things again on my own someday. I'm not sponsored by HelloFresh, obviously, but honestly, I felt way more happy with that experience than I have with this Factor experience. Nothing I got from Factor felt freshly cooked, because it wasn't. The best meal that I got tasted like good leftovers, comparatively to HelloFresh, where you get the food and then you make it into the meal. It is literally fresh food. There is a noticeable difference when you cook something fresh to when you heat something up from Factor that, you know, was delivered to your house 4 days ago. So that's another thing that's important to keep in mind if you were considering getting Factor or HelloFresh or any of these meal kits. If that's something that's important to you, to have fresh food like that, and it's, you know, available to you to be able to have the time to cook that meal, then I think HelloFresh would be more worth your bang for your buck than Factor would be, in my opinion. Overall, I came away from this experience with the Factor feeling pretty disappointed in a lot of the meals, especially the breakfasts. Breakfast is like the most important meal of the day for me because it gives me something to look forward to in the morning, especially when I'm waking up early. I find it very helpful to like be looking forward to eating breakfast and drinking my coffee, and that helps me get out of bed in the morning. And also the coffee gives me a little boost in the day, and I look forward to my breakfast and my morning every day. And so this week of eating Factor meals for breakfast, it's gonna sound dramatic, but like, it was like genuinely difficult. I was like straight up gagging and like could hardly get a lot of the food down because of the texture, because of the taste, because of the way it looked. And the protein shakes that I was planning to use as coffee because they had so much caffeine in them also were horrible, and I didn't expect that. And so then my caffeine was ruined, and that made me all grumpy. And just every single one of the meals, except for the overnight oats, were like very disappointing. It really disrupted my routine and set my day off on kind of like a shitty start. I was looking forward to like all of them too. They all looked so good in the photos. So overall, I can't bring myself to recommend Factor. To me, it's way too expensive and way too small of portion sizes, and it just kind of tastes mid and sometimes even downright bad. As I said earlier, I think some people in some circumstances definitely could enjoy it and get some genuine value out of it. And I also think it's worth mentioning that there is a lot of competitors to Factor. If you're looking for something cheaper, you might be able to locate that somewhere else. Or if you're concerned about the labor issues, then, you know, definitely look into those other options. One thing I will say that I did learn from this experience is that I really do like having that structure and having my meals just ready to go when I'm ready to eat them. And since I'm not like an insanely busy person, this experience has made me want to do some meal planning for myself, like some prepping. Instead of getting them shipped to my door and paying all this extra money and convenience costs and all these different things and having meals that I don't really like, I feel like if I made them myself and made the meals that I actually would like, that also would further my fitness goals that I'm trying to reach, had the right portion sizes for me, like, I think that would be a better use of my time. Plus, I can get what I liked out of HelloFresh as well, which was the idea of, you know, learning how to cook meals and stuff like that. So I really think that this experience has inspired me to start, you know, this new structure in my own life that I'm gonna try to do. I think there are aspects of Factor that are great, and some people might find those aspects to outweigh the rest of the stuff that I'm talking about in this video. But I am not one of those people. And from my experience, I would not recommend this product. And with that, I want to say thank you to every single person that has been watching my videos, is subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much, because you guys have officially helped me surpass 100,000 subscribers on this channel, and that is such an awesome thing to be able to say to you guys. You helped me get this play button that has my name on it, and I still am having imposter syndrome looking at this play button, seeing my reflection and my name on the plaque. I still don't believe it, but here it is right in my hands, and it's all thanks to you guys. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It's genuinely a dream come true. I've wanted one of these since I was 7 years old. Like, it's so cool. Also, I want to give a special thanks to all my second tier members right here, flying down the screen. Everybody here pays for the second tier YouTube membership, and they are all extra goated. If you want to check that out, you can pay. It's about $8 a month, and you get monthly exclusive Yap sessions, as well as your name featured at the end of every single video. So check it out. But anyways, all right, I'll see you guys next time.